All right, hi math class. I missed you guys. So we finished our book actually last week. We tested on area and perimeter. We don't really do anything with symmetry and tessellations. We kind of recap, and we will be doing an end of the year kind of review for everything, but since we have some weeks, and we normally do some weeks in between, we kind of move through some things that are still part of our curriculum, like Roman numbers. We will be doing some place value in the millions, and we'll also be doing a couple of fun things that you'll need to know in fifth that we might as well start, because you guys are so brilliant, we might as well start this year, like multiplying fractions and things like that. But we will take a good week of reviewing. I'll have some videos for you and such for some of the chapters, actually all of the chapters that we have done so far in Singapore math. Okay, so you have your sheet, our little Roman soldier, okay, Roman numerals. You also have, I believe, a little table or key in your assignment pad, so look for that too. I can't remember where it is, if it's in the front or back. I'll have some IXLs for you if you notice in your math lesson plans. Those are kind of fun. Don't get beat up by them. I think they get really tricky, especially when we start doing the letters that go with, I know these are all letters, but the LCDs and M's, the thousands, 500s get a little tricky, but just have some fun with it. The 7 basic symbols, okay, of your Arabic numbers, of course, are our standard form, 1, and then the Roman numeral, 5, 10, 50, 100, 500, 1,000. Okay, we're going to focus especially today on basically like 1 through 30, 1 through 40, something like that. So I always like to talk about Roman numbers. I was first introduced to Roman numbers when we learned the Stations of the Cross, because those have always been numbered in Roman numerals. So again, and there's not a lot of rhyme or reason to it. It's one of those things you just have to know, just like you know your standard Arabic numbers. So 1, I know it looks like a capital I. And typically we do put, when we're writing it, we do put, making it look like that, so we encase it. All right, we encase it instead of just looking like that. Okay, so equals, of course, 1. Whoops, sorry, my marker's drying out here. Equals 1. So 2 equals 2, and again, we're not doing tally marks. This is 2, so not much more difficult. 3, but then they start changing it. So of course, obviously, you wouldn't want to continue to count by this. If you had, 35, obviously you'd have all these, this long row of columns. So or vertical lines. So they start doing something that, again, is just a symbol. It's something you just have to remember. So this, I'm going to jump down to, whoops, if you can see, I'm going to jump down to 5. So a V, if you notice on your sheet also, a V, okay, is 5. So in between this, then, we have the 1 in front of it. We know this is 1, so it basically says 1 from 5 is 4. Okay, then we have 5. Well, then we just start adding on again, right? So you have your 5 and the 1. So notice that it's a big difference. Obviously, this is, this is 4 when it's before it. When it's after, we're just counting on. Okay? So this would be 5, 6, 7. This would be 5, 6, 7, 8. And guess what? Once again, that 4th number, they don't want you to keep going and going and going. So now there's a symbol. So we're going to jump to 10. If you notice, 10 is here. Well, if this is 10, then you have 1 before the 10. Sorry, I'm having to move my board a lot. But the 1 before the 10, well, then you have 9. Okay, so we'll practice. You'll have some practice on the back side of it. Okay? So I'm going to start back. So those are the 10 basic, counting by Roman numerals. And of course, I'm going to go right, actually I'll go on this side. So I know Miss Ryan in my class, we did the Stations of the Cross. I know you never got to test on it. But, so from 10, with having to do just with Stations of the Cross, we'd have the 10, okay, and 11. Nothing different. Now, again, I like these. It would not be wrong if you just left that. I was taught to bracket it, okay? But that's up to you, okay? So, 11. So then we have it again for 12. Okay, whether or not you do the line size, that's up to you. We have 12. And then, of course, we have 13. And then, just like we did with our 4s and our 9s, we need to change it up. So think about this. Okay, if this was 4, and we want 14, we want it to have our 10 and then our 14. So sometimes people like to put the, the X over here. That gets a little confusing. And once again, either use the lines or not. But this is 14. All right. And then, of course, what would 15 be? Well, the V is 5. And the X is 10. So 15 would be the X and the V. Okay? Now, again, it gets continues on pretty much the same way, not getting terribly more difficult than that until you get into that 50, into the 50s and higher. So let's take a look. If that's 15, well, you don't do anything, whoops, sorry there, guys, anything different. So there you have your 10, 15, 16. We've been bracketing it or lining it. I'm going to not line it now. You can choose. All right. So we have 10, 15, 16. So again, follow your, whether it's your notes in your assignment pad or just this packet. So if this is 16, we have 10, 15, 16, 17. Okay, remember 18, we still count the 3. So we'd have 10, 15, 16, 17, 18. And again, if you're bracketing, it would look like that. Well, of course, now we have that 19. All right, so just like we had in the 14, for 19, we'd have the 10. And then the 9, remember what 9 was? The one before the X? Well, it's the same. Okay? This is where it gets a little trickier. Okay, so we have 10. 1 minus the 10 is 19. I like the 20. That's super easy, right? 2 X's, T equal 20. Okay, and of course I could go on and on and on, but I don't need to because you have the tools you need. So keep this, obviously, as a reminder. Look through your assignment pad also. And then you're going to be doing the back page. And I know it looks like the bottom numbers 9 and 10 got cut off. That's okay. Don't worry about it. So write the Roman numerals for each number. So it's giving you Arabic or standard. So you'll write, the Roman numeral on the line. Then section B says write the Arabic number for each Roman numeral. So now, again, it's a good way to do our counting, and I know it's hard to see on my paper, but you have your 10, 20, 30, 5. So on this sheet, you'll just put 3, 5. You want to write it in Arabic numbers or standard form. Okay? Let's see. I want this to do about 2 days. You'll do some iExcel. So I want you to complete this page that we did. It says, I guess, lesson 1, I don't know, -S1. And then the next page is Roman numerals chart 1 to 50. So if you notice, it's filled up in some, and it kind of keeps you making sure that you're in the right spot. And if you'll notice, it's cut off on the bottom. I didn't notice that when I printed them off, so please don't worry about it. Or if you want to keep counting, then keep counting through that line. I'm totally fine. Either one's fine. So if this is 2, obviously you're counting from 1 to 50. So here is 1, 2. You'll fill in 3, 4, 5, and it kind of checks you and makes sure you where you need to be. Please stop at that page, and then we'll finish up the next couple of pages in tomorrow's lesson. All right? Good luck. Miss you guys. See you soon.